So I love that I say we're gonna start the stream and then Dave just disappears from the frame. It's like hey guys, you ready to go? And Dave just like walks away.
It's style points. He's got to show up late, or else
He's like, sorry kids, my Dreamcast is more important than this podcast.
Who are you talking about?
We're talking about you to the rest of the world.
I did not show up late. What are you talking
you actually
about?
We said let's start the stream, and you got up and walked
Discord
away.
wasn't working. I was away for half a second. Jesus Christ!
you will be missed.
All right, let's get this.
You're a real taskmaster over there, Brian.
Just before we start the stream, I want to say to everybody who's watching or listening, we had grand expectations for this episode, and we didn't prepare at all.
Oh yeah, I gotta finish my thing.
Yeah, me too. While the intro's going, we gotta finish preparing.
Yeah.
That being said, let's go. Let's start the show.
But first, I gotta say, what's up, Kev Gret? What's up, Secret Self? Stay warm, Gregor Rastafari,
Woo.
Hey Hobbit, Arch Superfly Kane, British Badass. What's up, dude? Kev Gret. 7 goddamn minutes, Kev Gret. Mako, Mikey, J Meow, Nick Mulo, all my favorite people in the world. What is good? Welcome.
I feel like we ran out of people before the intro was over. We need more people.
What's up, Jason?
The Livinator.
Dun 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 dun. Joshua Taylor, Woody the Bluebird.
Woody.
We're always attacking.
Yeah, it didn't take very long.
What do we do? We attack Dave?
What's up, Red Pop? Yeah, Kev Gret's like already attacking Dave.
Nice. That's what we do here, man. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to preempt.
Well, this show, I'm just going to sit back and take it.
What's up, Space Shooter? What's up, Twix?
All right, let's see if I get all this right here. Now that cat is up in our face.
I see a cat. I most definitely see a cat.
Oh, we got another David out there. What's up, David? Nice name.
Some crosses.
Biblical name.
Some crosses in David's name.
It's a biblical name.
All right, let's do this. Ready to do this? Let's do this. What's up, everybody? This is PSVR GamesCast Live, where we film live every Thursday night, 6 p.m. Eastern. And we discuss PlayStation VR games eventually, 8 goddamn minutes later, Kevin Gret. But we definitely got some stuff to do here. I apologize to everyone right up front and center here. I basically crawled out of bed like an hour ago. I don't know what happened. I've been sleeping since like Tuesday night. And I was like, oh, we got a show to do. I got to get out of bed. It's craziness. As always, my name is Brian Paul. And in the middle, AJ from PSVR Underground and this channel here without Parole. AJ looking good, man.
Feeling great.
Way better than looking good is feeling good.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
never look good, but I always feel amazing.
Don't put yourself down.
We're about to get like 50 comments about how cute you are, AJ.
Yeah. And then, of course, to our far left, the cutest of the group.
I put on my nice shirt this time.
Nice. I'm in uniform, but that's Dave from Davestation VR. Again, I don't put down his first name because it's implied in your channel's name. So if you
usually get it. Yeah.
If you don't already subscribe to Davestation VR, subscribe to PlayStation VR Underground, and subscribe to Without Parole, because, well, I mean, otherwise, what the fuck are we doing here? Also,
good idea.
I swore right off the bat, just to let you know, that we do swear. So don't sit down with your kids and watch this show. This is not family friendly. Let's get a little housekeeping out of the way before we do anything. Let's make sure everyone head on over to the PlayStation 4 community. It's PSVR Without Parole Game Cats, all one word. That's on your PlayStation 4 itself. Just do a little search and we'll pop right up. Join us over there. But actually, we're more active is on our Discord server. So click that link in the description and join us over there. I kid you not, man. You could join that at like 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. Rypop, we're on the bench with Rypop right now. He's playing a little game.
What's up, Bryan?
Thank you so much for the donation, man. We greatly appreciate you. One of our star moderators over on said Discord channel.
Oh yeah.
I don't see. What did he write for the comment?
Going to try and hit a dinger for you cats. Meow.
Anyone
Good
know
luck.
what that means?
Go get it right.
What does that mean?
I don't know. He's at a ball. He's at some kind of ball.
Hitting a
or
ball
something.
with a bat of some kind, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, I thought he said he was at a ball. I didn't know he said he was hitting a ball.
I think he plays like baseball every Thursday night, and so like he's just kind of got some headphones. Maybe it's softball. Maybe it's football. I don't know if you hit those with bats, but that's what we're doing right now.
Nice.
Yeah, Discord. Make sure you join us over there. And that's it, man. Hit us up on patreon.com/withoutparolegames for $1 or more every single month. Phew, man. I'll tell you right now, I am wicked out of it. It is hotter than hell here for whatever reason. I got a fan running.
Geez.
I never have a fan going, but I have a fan going in the background. And it is just like, what a mess we got going on right here. Also, shout out to Wolfie Smith, the Game Cub. Bryan, he says, can't stop as I'm on the bus. Have a great show. Thank you for the donation. And then J Meow sends us $2 and says his name is Godcannon, not AJ. This is the 50th time.
You know, I almost legally changed my name to God Cannon at one point because, you know, I felt like I was so attached to my PSN name, and, you know, I just want everybody to know me as the gamer, and, like, you know, don't worry about my personal life because it's all about the games for me.
Nick Mulo.
Same thing.
Nick Mulo does clarify things a little bit and says a dinger is a home run, you nerds. I assume that was the case.
We're nerds. I feel like people who like baseball are the biggest nerds of all.
Oh look, the guy that we don't allow in the chat, Polish Paul, is here. I don't know where that rumor gets started.
I don't know.
I don't know where the rumor got started, but somebody said that we don't allow Polish Paul on the channel, and we just don't allow him to be part of this chat because he's incomprehensible. But in the chat itself,
that's the whole selling point.
Yeah, but
Polish Paul, really.
but it's horrible television. But no, he's always welcome here, as is everybody else.
We need to get Polish Paul up on the guest spot one day.
I'm leaving at 7. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, you're putting me on the spot right now. Remember that it was a rumor until 2 seconds ago that we didn't allow him on the channel, and then you're making it a reality very quickly.
It's time to squash the beef that never existed in the first place.
Madman the Black, the Game Cat, says, "Hey guys, can't stay long. Just wanted to say hi. Well, thank you for stopping by and saying hi." He said him and the missus have had a very long, tiring week, so our love goes out to him and her, and hopefully everyone gets all rested up and feels better soon.
You're the best, Mad.
All right, guys, let's get some news out of the way here. It's been actually. I will approve this message, Joe Jack. He says, "Polish Paul rules. Quit your shit talking." I could have deleted that.
Fun, man.
I could have deleted that, but man, shit talking is half the fun around here.
Yeah.
Oh man, but Polish Paul is the best. I mean, come on, man, that's pushing it. He's okay. He's not the best. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not
said he was the best,
but I do love that.
Oh, great, the Rastafari guy. Well, he's high as shit, so
that explains everything. Who's got visitors?
Sorry, that's me.
All right,
nobody ever visits me, so it's definitely not me.
If it's the pizza guy, you better be sharing, dude. All right, 13 goddamn minutes later. Do we wait for Dave? What are we doing here? This is ridiculous. Chaos asks if we can have AJ take his hat off.
It's surgically attached.
It is actually your skull now.
if you remove it, it's just brains, and I'll die.
Nice.
Maybe for a Patreon episode.
Portal Play says, "This is not VR related. Can you guys talk about Google Stadia?" No, unfortunately not. Portal Player. We've got enough PSVR stuff to talk about that if we start talking about non-PSVR stuff, we're gonna be here all night. And on top of that, Dave, who was that? Bite the Hand no longer thinks it's your mom, and she wants you to clean your room. It wasn't
my mom. My mom lives in Texas, and I live in Florida. Yeah. It was groceries. I ordered groceries because I'm a lazy son of a bitch.
Bro.
And they arrived, and I had to run and put my frozen pizza in the freezer. The other stuff I don't think is gonna.
Why is it frozen? Put it in the fucking oven, man. Let's get this shit on the roof. Like, I need some pizza now.
I mean, come get it. It'll be ready as soon as you get here. All right, let's talk about games.
Polish Paul says, "The best, Bryan. The people have spoken." All right.
Yeah, like 2 people that are really high in the chat spoke, but we'll give them some credit.
All right. Okay, so yeah, we've got so much PlayStation VR news to talk about that we should probably stop messing around. AJ, do you want to run us through some of these news topics?
Yes. So we got a couple things going on. It's going to be a pretty good month this month of what we know about. There's going to be some other stuff that we don't know about.
What do we got?
Okay, so first up, Neat Corporation. Everybody that's been asking about budget cuts.
Budget cups.
Solo cups. Budget cuts. They said that they have finally demonstrated their first gameplay footage for budget cuts on PSVR in Japan. and that it's getting closer to launch, and that there is an English version that is on the horizon. So no official date yet, but really nice to hear that there's some movement on there and that they're already starting to show it around a little bit. So everybody looking forward to budget cuts.
Why Japan? Is Neat Corporation a Japanese company?
No, it's not coming out in Japan first or anything. I think they were just saying we're showing it off and it has Japanese support. And then as a joke, they were like, oh, it's got English too. You know what I mean? I think it's probably already localized in a bunch of countries, like ready to demo around.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
This is one of those games that like I feel like was out on PC VR for so long that like it's got a great reputation.
I think like the final version of it, when it got out of early access, was pretty recent.
Oh, was it really?
I'm fairly sure, yeah, because I've heard a lot more about it in the last few months.
Okay. Yeah, but
I've heard great stuff so far. I mean, I'm excited.
I mean, the core premise of this is sort of you are teleporting around an office environment, right? And but there's like these. I mean, I'm just basically saying what the trailer says right here. It's like there's like basically robots and stuff that have like taken over jobs and stuff like that, and you're trying to like avoid them, or what's the core premise here? There's some sort of teleportation portal thing going on.
Trying to escape? I'm not entirely sure. I don't know what the whole plot is. I pictured it always as sort of like Portal mixed with that scene in The Matrix where he's got to get out of his office because there's people everywhere.
That's what it was. The teleportation mechanic is actually like Portal inspired, where it's like you're creating these little.
Yeah, you can look through them and see the other side and stuff too, I think.
Right. Also, shout out to Mako XL, who a tip went flying by. I barely saw it. He says, "Take the hat off." I think we will read your comments.
Put a hat on, I think.
We will read your comments. We will not obey your commands if you tip us. We will read your comments, however. Oh man, Woody the Bluebird asked if anyone saw the new episode of Black Mirror this week. I didn't even realize there were new episodes out.
No, but I've heard that they showed off a little bit of. First of all, happy birthday to Tetris. It's Tetris's birthday today, I believe, or it was recent.
Is it a big birthday? Is it like 20 or 30th birthday, 50th birthday?
Tetris should be getting pretty up there by now.
Yeah.
It came out in the 70s originally, or am I wrong about that? 80s?
I mean,
Google it.
I mean, it should be late 80s because I mean the Game Boy Tetris one came out in 89, and then it had already been out on PCs and everything for a couple years before that. My guess would be 86, 87. I don't know. That's my guess.
I don't know. But happy birthday to Tetris, also known as That Guy As Well VR. So in this episode, I think they showed off some I think they showed off some footage of Tetris VR or something, and they were talking about it. So that's probably why it got mentioned. Not exactly the best. I mean, as much as I love Tetris Effect, like if you're doing a show and like showcasing something in VR, being like, "This is the future," it's like I don't think Tetris Effect is exactly what you should be doing. Like show off Res Infinite or something. But man, I just
sometimes you need to get that hook in people though. Like maybe they don't care about VR, but they love Tetris and they've always loved Tetris, so they try it in VR and they're like, "Oh wow, VR is actually pretty cool because this is the best Tetris I've ever played."
The best and most solidifying. Very, very. Man, if Tetris Effect had like 4-player multiplayer, I'd be all about it. It would be like in my top 5 PSVR games. Instead, it's always going to be like 15 through 20 somewhere. Jay Meow says, "Take your pants off for $2." You know what? You guys don't know this, but you didn't need to tip me. My pants are already off. You can only see from my chest down. This is actually a belly shirt, if you can believe it. So whatever's happening below the camera stays below the camera. All right, so that's budget cuts. I'm so happy that we got these trailers working in the bottom of the screen now. What else we got going on here besides budget cuts? Do we have a release date for budget cuts, or just like, hey, it's still in the works?
No, it's just people have been asking for an update like crazy, and that's the closest thing.
2019, that was it?
Yeah, pretty much planned for 2019, and they're starting to show it off, so that's good signs right there.
Nice.
Next up, we've got Sorrento, which is coming July 5th, and there is a pre-order for the physical edition for all you collectors out there. And have you seen this pre-order?
I've already pre-ordered. I didn't ask. I just sign me up, man. Here's my money. Take it.
You you can go to Perp Games website and go check out this Sorrento pre-order thing. It's got a badass looking steelbook case, and it's also going to be signed by Mixed Realms in there. So pretty jealous. I might have to actually go and get. I'm not a physical edition collector, but that's definitely one that I would want because it just looks awesome, and I expect the game to be good too.
You can expect whatever you want, man. No promises. No, actually, this I got to say that there were a lot of PC trailers. Like obviously leading up to this, and as good as they've always looked kind of rudimentary as far as like graphics are concerned. And it was like, oh, this is going to be all about the immersion and about the action and the jump flips and the sword swinging and stuff. And it's probably not going to be like visually that impressive. But man, looking at this trailer, like looks like a serious jump up from what they were showing off before. And unless it's all just in my head, but these look like much more detailed environments and much better looking enemies and stuff. So I don't know if they've just gotten a lot further. Is Sorrento like even out of early access on PC? Does anybody know? Because it's so often that like games are just in early access for so long and we don't even know it because they've been talked about for a year.
Well, yeah, Beat Saber just got out of early access recently, and that's like the biggest game in the world. So as far as VR is concerned.
Yeah, so this is I think Sorrento is a huge deal, and I know that Nicholas from the 3D Rudder company has been saying like this is one of those games that like if you're looking to see what the 3D Rudder is capable of, this is going to be one of those games that really demonstrates that. So again, just like Immortal Legacy, this is one of those games that like I'm willing to like sit back down in my living room and go, let's give this another shot with the 3D Rudder. Let's see how this plays. So.
Me too. Especially with all the locomotion and stuff, and they said how problematic it is with the sticks without having thumbsticks. This is definitely one I'm looking forward to trying the rudder with for sure.
Yeah.
Because when we talked about the rudder last week, there was one thing I forgot to mention that's kind of important, and that it's supposed to be a replacement or a substitute for joysticks. And we got into it's great for disabilities, it's great for this and that, but at the end of the day, it's made to to complement the fact that there's no joystick. So definitely excited to try that out.
Nice.
And Sorrento looks awesome.
It does. And the release date is, what is it?
July 2nd? July
5th.
Nice.
Something like that. Okay,
it's next month, man. So here's the thing. The great thing about what's happening right now is that, during the first state of play, Sony was like, here is like a ton of release dates for PSVR games, and they really packed the front half of 2019 so heavily. And we were like, did they just show all of their cards? And as it turns out, they absolutely did not. It looks like the rest of this year, slowly but surely, they're filling in all of those gaps. And this is just another one of those where it's just like another major title that's just like, holy crap, man! Like we don't have any time off for like the rest of the year. It looks like this is going to be an amazing, amazing year for PSVR. All right, AJ, hook me up. What's next?
All right, so next up, there's a new game that I don't know if it was already announced or not, but they basically said that they're working on bringing it to PSVR, and that's going to be Onshape VR. And it's basically like if you've ever seen, what is it like? I want to say like Japanese like game shows where they have people doing like stunts, like American Ninja Warrior type stuff, except this is just like where a box or a cardboard thing comes out to you, and it has a cutout of like a person in a certain position, and you have to place your hands in that position. And basically it's that mixed with a rhythm game. So they just have a teaser that they released, and they said that they're working on bringing it to PSVR soon. So interested in this one. It looks like it could actually be kind of fun.
Yeah, they're showing off a bunch of things in this trailer that are pretty awesome. So first it looks a little bit like Beat Saber, where like there's these walls coming at you and you have to dodge them, like avoid them and do that. And then there's a wall that comes at you and you have to like punch it. And then it's got the whole shape thing that you're talking about, where it's like you have to make the different positionings to go through, kind of like Super Hypercube. And man, like it sounds so dumb. And I think there was actually a Move compatible game on PlayStation 3 that was just like this, but it was on PS3 and it used moves. And it was like,
this is a Japanese game show. I've seen this.
Yeah.
Like they have a thing where you just move your body like a Tetris piece, and there's a big wall coming at you, and that's pretty much the whole game.
To move or not to move? That is the question.
It shows like some like punching the walls too. So I guess there's going to be a little bit of variation and stuff. But that, and you know, if the soundtrack is good, that could be really awesome as well.
Yeah, that could definitely help this game along quite a bit.
So is this coming to Quest too? Because
this is obviously a Quest trailer, yeah.
Yeah, no, because they had wires on their headset and then they disappeared, and then this person's holding Quest controllers. And doing
at the end of the trailer, it says to move or not to move. That is the question, and it like highlights Quest. So yeah, this is definitely a Quest trailer. But a lot of people get kind of like uppity about. Especially on like PSVR this week when we announce games coming to PSVR, that we have to use trailers for other headsets. It's small companies like this that they just don't have the money to make a PSVR specific trailer, so they make one and then just kind of use it universally.
Yeah, I don't see why.
It's really specific to Quest.
This is very specific.
Every asset.
It should be coming first to Oculus and then PSVR later.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see a separate trailer because this is very Quest centric. But it looks cool though. Like these are the kind of like things that like people don't get excited for because they seem like experiences. They seem like kind of like smaller games, and then when you play them, you're like, this is so much fun. And I feel like we're at a point where like if this was something that was happening like early on in the first few months of PSVR, I'd be like, okay, whatever. But now that we're sort of past experiences and past all this stuff, it's okay to get excited about all that again. For some reason, I'm just like I'm excited about these independent developers making new and interesting experientions.
Right.
So the thing that's interesting to me is that a game like this can get onto the Quest store, but a game like To the Top gets rejected by Oculus because so as fun as this looks, I think as far as having a full game there and being really developed, To the Top should be on Quest way before this should be.
Yes, there
as far
is
as indie developers go and stuff like that. So I don't know what their idea is there.
Somebody's not doing their job over there at Oculus.
No, because there's a petition now. I don't know how well petitions work, but anybody interested and that likes To the Top and wants to support that game, which I think you should because it's awesome. There's a petition to bring it on the Quest. They basically shot it down. They said they didn't think it qualified. They said the awful words of that it was kind of like a tech demo. And I have over 111 hours in this game. It's got a full 32 level campaign. It's got multiplayer that's versus and co-op, and it's one of my favorite games. It made our top 20 list, I think, at number 15, and for good reason. And it's cheap, and it gives you tons and tons and tons of awesome content. So definitely, if you're interested, go support those guys because they need us. And they deserve it.
And they already have a working build on the Quest. Honestly, they just have to approve it for the store. Like, it already runs. It's there.
It seems kind of custom designed for the Quest. Like, it's like you've got these bigger levels, but they're kind of like, there's a simpler design. So it's, it should run pretty easily. This is To the Top is sort of seems like what the Quest is designed for, to be honest. So
so I don't know what their thought process is and how they're making these decisions. They let VR carts on as a launch title.
Are you kidding me?
It's a launch title, and they won't let To the Top onto the store. But anyway, that's not PSVR related, so we can move on.
No,
I will say VR carts is getting a lot of attention lately. Like people are watching the review, asking me like if it's worth picking up, and it's like, and anyone who's curious, man, don't know. VR, it's I don't care what price they're charging. They charged like $40 when it first came out, which was highway robbery. But man, it's just too slow. It's so slow. It never feels like it actually picks up the pace. The AI is ridiculously easy even on the hardest levels, and the weapons are they're not impactful at all. It's just boring. But the problem is that like you get in there and you're like, oh, this is colorful. This is Mario Kart in VR until you play it, which sucks, man, because it was so close. Like it could just a little more work. It probably could have been Mario Kart VR.
That is unfortunate. I really want a VR kart racer so bad.
Yeah, why isn't Crash Team Racing coming to VR? That would be amazing.
That's my next like not petition because I don't think I've ever made a petition.
Let's do it.
Change.org. Yeah, change.org. There we go. Sure, there are people that are struggling and need help, but we want VR carts, damn it.
It's important. All right, what do we got next, AJ?
So next up, we have the Laberdeck Studios has announced finally, after saying that it was going to come to PSVR last December, they have Scraper, First Strike coming July 2nd. That's the July 2nd one you were thinking of, Dave. And I think it's $20.
Oh yeah, Scraper.
And it's a cyberpunk RPG action game. I'm actually really excited for this one. Some of it looks great, some of it looks okay, but I'm really, really looking forward to playing this one because I love me some cyberpunk. And you know, back on top with the rudder again. This game supports the aim, the moves, the dual shock, everything, and the rudder. So. And you're driving this little like mech suit thing, so I actually think it's another good fit for the rudder potentially.
Yeah, I'm curious to know like what the you know they're calling this an RPG, so I'm curious to know just how like extensive the RPG elements actually are.
Right.
So, but
I know it's mostly action, but yeah, I think you get RPG because it's like there's upgrades to your machine and all this different stuff, but. Definitely looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's is this one out on PC already? Do we know?
Oh yeah, it's been out for a while on PC.
It's been out.
What are the?
Yeah, they keep pushing back the release date on PSVR. That was supposed to come out months and months and months ago.
Yeah, like last year for sure.
Yeah.
What is it getting pretty favorable reviews on Steam? Do we know?
I think it's mixed, but let me check.
Yeah.
Do it. I'm very curious, man. If there's any user reviews on Steam, I'd love to know. A little bit more about what people are experiencing with this, because it could, for me, this feels like it could go either way, big time.
Okay, I take it back. The reviews are listed as being positive. There's
Nice.
15 reviews overall. They are actually they're almost all thumbs up. There is one guy who says this is the worst VR game I've ever played.
There's always that
Movement
guy.
is absolutely
Don't ever
atrocious.
be that guy.
I only see 2 thumbs downs, so yeah, overall decent sounding.
Nice, and then obviously they've had plenty of time to sort of refine everything since then. That's what I love about PlayStation VR. I mean, like people say, "Oh, you gotta wait so long to get the game," you know, after the PC release. But man, it's usually way better than it was at launch. So I don't mind waiting.
This review is my favorite. He says, "Not recommended. Don't buy unless you like sitting in a wheelchair-like motorcycle all the time. No walking around." I feel like sitting in a wheelchair-like motorcycle might be kind of fun as shit.
Yeah.
I would try that. That sounds cool.
And
I would
with
get around that way.
Can't say I see the problem.
Yeah,
and the different option controls as well. Like that's pretty awesome. That's the one thing we preach around here is like give us so many different options. And it's also heavily story driven, I believe. There's like supposed to be a lot of lore to it. So I am down with some cyberpunk lore.
It actually comes with like a novel that's like a prequel to the like it's like in the game you can read this thing. I think it's by a guy who writes Star Wars stuff.
Right. Jason pointed that out last time. That he wrote some of that. So yeah, July 2nd, definitely be all over that. A Hobbit, the Game Cat, says bit extra on top of Patreon pledge. Love you all. Love you too, dude.
Oh, thank you.
You are awesome.
Oh shit. There's a just totally off topic. During this week's episode of Why We Love PSVR, when I introduced Dez, he said something about Superman not being brave. Have you ever seen the movie Angus? And I was like, dude, let's save it for a Litterbox episode. There is a Litterbox episode about that I haven't uploaded yet. So I'll get on that like tonight. So if anybody's a Patreon supporter, Litterbox incoming tonight. Sorry about that.
Okay. All right. So the other things.
There's other things. Sorry.
There's just a few other things.
I got one. But
go ahead, Dave. No, please go.
So Firewall got another patch, another patch.
I don't like the sound of this.
1.23, right?
The world is still on fire. If you look at their Reddit or their Discord, people are saying it's still broken. In fact, maybe more broken than it was last time.
Woohoo!
And so people are longing for previous patches where it was still broken because it was broken differently. But I think it essentially boils down to they tried to take out the join friends feature because I guess they realized or they decided that there was a small group of people who were using that to mess with the hack keys and like get free stuff. Like they'd send their friend on the other team and they'd help them get challenges, which seems like a super rare. It seems like a super rare occurrence, but they are trying to remove, which is basically built-in PlayStation functionality to join a friend.
Right.
And so a lot of people are saying that's what fucked up all the matchmaking. But they seem firm on that stance, which is really silly to me. If you're trying to squash a tiny issue and you kill the game for everybody, like, what's the point in that? So people are pissed. It's not working. Nobody knows if it'll ever work again.
Wait, so we don't the game. What's it been? 2 weeks now or 3 weeks?
It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
And
they keep
It's been
promising patches.
84
And
years.
they keep delivering patches, but none of them fix anything.
Right,
They
there's
just introduce different problems.
always patches. It's ridiculous.
It's a strange one. Yeah, you would think they would just attack the main one first and then work their way outward from there.
Yeah.
For all the
I
little
think
things, not sure what's going on.
Based on the discussions I'm seeing and just the general feeling people seem to have, I feel like this is going to have a long-term effect on their player base, honestly.
Yeah, man.
And nobody's going to trust future major updates from them. Like if they say, "Oh, season 2 is going to have all this crazy new shit," people will just be like, "Okay, what are you going to break this time? Like, how can you mess it up?"
The hope, of course,
So-
is that they're learning lessons over their first contact,
Yeah,
being
but
like,
I
well,
think
this.
they're losing the trust. I think they're losing the trust of even the most dedicated people are like turning on it and saying like, "Fuck this, it's not
Yeah.
worth it."
I haven't turned, but I'd be lying if I said my will to go back is like definitely fading
Lowered,
fast. Yeah, but
And as
but
soon
I'm
as
still
the player
excited.
base dries up, that game's not viable anymore. Like if people get out of the feeling of let's play Firewall, maybe it's just for a month, but that lingers, and so
Well-
your daily routine, if it was playing Firewall every day, has been disturbed for a whole month.
Yeah.
You got a new routine at that point.
What do you think they're playing instead?
I don't know. I've seen a bunch of
Exactly.
people saying, like, I bought all these games on sales and I realized I never got around to them. So thank you, Firewall, for being so fucked up that I get other games.
Some honor and duty I've been hearing. People have been getting back into D-Day. But yeah, that's the thing is they're in a privileged spot right now where they don't really have a lot of competition. Although those Alvo devs did say that they've got some new engineers and stuff that they're working on different things. So that game looks kind of like Counter-Strike. I know they don't have like the biggest reputation.
Well, they've got the worst reputation, but they did make a statement about that because they were like, "Listen, guys, if you hate Quiz Night tonight, we understand. We were just trying some stuff out, and the guy who made it isn't working with us on Alvo."
Right.
So they basically threw him under the bus, and they were like, "Oh, well, we don't have anything to do with that guy anymore. Don't worry about that."
I can't wait to be proven wrong. I can't wait for Alvo to come out and be like,
Absolutely.
and have it be great and be like, oh, all this shit talking I've been doing for the last 2 years, ever since we've seen that CG trailer and no gameplay, no in-game graphics, no anything except for a title screen. I can't wait to be proven wrong.
I thought I saw a little bit of gameplay, and I thought it looked exactly like
I've
Counter-Strike.
There was a
like
CG
stills,
trailer, and as far as I know, that was
pictures.
literally it. CG trailers.
Okay.
As far as I know, I could be wrong. If anyone wants to prove me wrong and
From
put a
what I
link in,
saw,
yeah.
Counter-Strike is one of the few like first-person shooters I ever was like really addicted to. And it looked, when I say it looked like it looked exactly like it. So it's actually a good thing though. I mean that in the best way possible. Even if it is a like complete ripoff, it should be, hopefully pretty good. What's up, BBX?
Ripoffs are fine as long as they're VR ripoffs.
Yeah, I don't know. Bugs Box VR was not a very good Bomberman ripoff, and
I
Bomberman
never played
Bomberman was
that.
something that I really wanted in VR until I played Bugs Box VR, and I was like, you know what? I don't want Bomberman anymore.
Yeah, it could have been done well. That just wasn't done well.
If it was visually pleasing, if you're gonna do a game that's not first person or whatever. I'm completely behind the games that can be like third person strategy, whatever. But for VR, they have to be visually pleasing for sure.
Speaking of which, I think we blasted through all the news stories.
That is about it. There's some updates and yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know, everyone keeps asking about Summer Funland. It's now out in the UK and the EU. Go spend your $20. Go visit that amusement park. Come back to me in 3 hours. Tell me how much fun you had.
Yeah, they are adding more content too. They didn't say when, but it sounded like a free update.
Yeah, but the only place that seems suitable for free DLC or updates are those laser mazes, where it's like, dude, I've had enough with the laser mazes.
They better not give me any fucking more laser
But
mazes. That's the one thing I didn't do there.
Me too.
But that's the one thing that when you beat it, it says more DLC or more laser mazes coming soon.
God.
And I'm like, no, we don't want that.
Way to introduce.
Jake, yeah, we'll get to Trover in a second. And Cloak, I definitely agree that Project Cars would be awesome.
Oh yeah,
in
for
VR.
sure. Guys, well,
Okay, so
let's talk about a little bit of what we've been playing this week. Is that okay? Are we there?
yeah.
Yep.
Good. Well, let me start because I want to kind of piggyback on this this third person discussion, and that is what I've been playing. I basically this morning sat down from beginning to end and played Table of Tales. This one got past me.
Great game.
And I've been meaning to review it. I just haven't had time. So I went in today, or this morning. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I was like, I'm going to go play Table of Tales. I'm halfway through. Let me go finish off that game. And my saved game got messed up. And when I loaded it, it brought me into the scene where I was at, but my characters weren't on the screen. And I couldn't continue the game. So I was like, you know what? This is actually kind of okay because I don't remember where the story was. I don't remember what was going on. And I started over and basically played from start to finish in one sitting. And I can't remember the last time I had this much fun. This is such a good game, and it's not just about the storytelling. It's about I'm like trying to think of like why I had such a good time, but man, it's like there's some simple decisions that you make that like really come into play later on, and you feel like you have a lot more control than like even what the game is like insinuating that you have. And I just love the RPG mechanics. I love the upgrading my characters, making these decisions that again seem kind of inconsequential, and then they become bigger decisions. It's the kind of thing where like the second you finish it, you're like, I need to play this like 2 or 3 more times just to see all the different variations of the story.
Absolutely.
So I'm a huge fan. Like I'm finally getting around to doing this review, and it's going to be. I mean, I want this to be on the next top 20. I fucking love this game.
I agree with you. It was the only reason I didn't fight for it on the last top 20 is because it was so new. And like I said, sometimes I got to wait like a week or so to really finalize my thoughts on a game, let it breathe a little.
Yeah.
And I think that's important, but I definitely think it deserves to be there, whether it makes it or not. But yeah, it's so charming. The storytelling is really fun. It's a fun game, and it's just done really well. It's very polished.
Yeah, there were some like clunky elements in it, like so where I was like, man, this could use a little more polish, because like sometimes like the character would just be bouncing in place because it wasn't quite sitting right in the environment, or you would try to like place a card like on an enemy or on your character, and it just wasn't quite registering. You had to like do it 2 or 3 times, and you're like, come on, just do it. But there's such minuscule things, and like it seems. Man, like it's so hard. You look at this trailer and it's like, oh, this looks all right, I guess. But man, when you see the scenery changing on that table and like all the tiles are like sinking into the table and popping back up, it reminds me of that the Google Glass demonstration where they did the AR Minecraft on the table, and I was like, but here we have a game that like does that, quote unquote, not because it's not AR, but man, they give you a table in VR and then crazy shit happens on it. And what I love most about this is that it's called Table of Tales: The Crooked Crown, and I really hope that means we're getting more Table of Tales.
Oh, I would love that.
Right,
Awesome.
Every year, here's a new story on this table. I'd really love that.
Yeah, I mean, really, the way it's set up, it's could easily be episodic. I think it wouldn't be that much trouble to take the assets they already have and just build a new adventure.
Yeah.
And I think people would eat it up. I love that first one.
Yeah, and it's replayable. That's one thing. I don't even know if you mentioned that, but that's the cool part about it is that you can replay it several different times with different paths, different stories, and everything. So
yeah, like Bryan was saying a minute ago, I think you notice as you play through how important some of those decisions are and how much they change the game.
Yeah,
and you're enjoying it, so you want to go back and see like what would have happened. What part of this corner of the game haven't I explored yet? So yeah, it's super fun.
Yeah, without spoiling anything, like one of the first big decisions you make is like this wave comes crashing over the boat, and the game goes, well, which one of your characters did it knock off? And you're like, oh, I'm eliminating a party member right now, and then it doesn't take
like
much longer.
Into the game. This is like immediately. It's barely a spoiler because it happens like the second you start playing the game. They're like, kill somebody. It lasts the whole rest of the game.
Right.
And you literally pick them up off the ship and then throw them into the water. Like you have to do it.
Yeah.
And so it feels like a big deal. And then it becomes even a bigger deal because soon after the game goes, okay, now we're going to go visit all these characters' homeworlds. And like you're like, oh, there's a whole section of this game that I don't get to see because I just killed that dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, no. So I want to go play it like at least 2 or 3 more times and see all the different paths I can take. And yeah, it's so much fun. $20 well spent. I really love this game, and it doesn't seem like something I would love. I'm not a huge fantasy guy. I don't like tabletop RPGs, but I absolutely do love the dice rolling mechanic in this game, where like you can play the same battle twice, and it's wildly different just because of a dice roll. You're like, man, that dice roll really helped me out the first time, but the second time I really fucking screwed the pooch, and I'm just done.
Yeah, for sure.
So, all right, AJ, what have you been playing?
Real quick, Jedi Poppy Pants says he just bought Borderlands 2 VR, ready for the DLC, and he says he's got the aim controller and he's so into VR now. Welcome, man.
Welcome to Poppy Pants or Poopy Pants? I can't see his name.
Ploppy Pants.
Oh, even better, Jedi Poppy Pants.
Yeah. But no, Borderlands 2 is amazing with the aim, and really, really good. So I've been playing. There's a guy. Let me pull up his name real quick. I've been playing a game after, what was it, 11/11, that came out last week. It was like a sci-fi story-driven thing, and after that, you guys had talked about Invisible Hours and how it's all just a story that you go around playing. So I was like, you know what? I've had Invisible Hours for so long, and there's a guy, the writer for it. I'm trying to find his name real quick.
Oh, the guy on Twitter, Rob Yescombe.
Rob Yescombe, thank you.
He did Farpoint too. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. I did a video last year, and I was like, I just love the story in Farpoint and everything. And he said, well, if you get a chance, I also wrote Invisible Hours. And, Invisible Hours used to come up on your top 20 lists and everything. And so after playing 11/11, and I was like, this was okay, but I want more. So I gave Invisible Hours a shot, and it is pretty awesome. I haven't gotten the ultimate ending yet. Apparently, and this isn't spoiling anything, you'll know when you're at the end, the real ending, when you get to the hotel room is when you'll know. So,
okay.
But it's a really cool, I'm a big Sherlock Holmes fan. I love detective stories, mysteries, murder mystery. So if you like stuff like that, this one has an awesome setting. And just absolutely love, so I wasn't crazy about the controls, but it's not really a game that you really rely on the controls. But yeah, the storytelling, the way you rewind time, fast forward time, you look at stuff from the different perspective. Like you see everything's normal from one thing, and then the other room, you see somebody getting murdered. It's almost like Clue in VR or something. It's really cool. And you try to solve the mystery of who killed who and everything, and then it's got a twist, which is also really awesome. So definitely recommend that. And really big thanks to Rob for recommending that game, because I did really like the story. The acting is phenomenal in it. It's so good. What did you guys think of that game?
I loved it. And I think one thing to mention too is if somebody's not familiar with it, if you're a fan of like historical fiction, like using characters from history, all of these people are like, it's like Thomas Edison is hanging out with this guy and this guy and this guy. So it's like an alternative history kind of fiction thing, which I know some people nerd out about stuff like that. So I mean, when you said it's like Sherlock Holmes, I feel like he could be in the game, right? Because there's so many other random assortment of, famous old timey folks. But yeah, it's a great one. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it is. I will say it's a little tough to get into as far as adventure games go, because it is all teleportation and I believe click turning, and it's it's just, it feels very, very slow from the get-go. You're just kind of like, you're like 11/11, you're just like, you can just like latch onto a character and sit back and watch it play out, or you can jump around from one to another, but unlike 11/11, this game rewards you so much for going off the beaten path and exploring and figuring out what's happening. Like there's a huge story segment going on over here, but then like over in this room, like shit's going down, and like that's way cooler than like the main story. And so it constantly rewards you for moving around and checking out all the different things and how the different characters interact. It's long. It takes quite a while to beat, and like again, you're not going to see everything in one sitting. What you didn't mention, I don't think you mentioned the time manipulation, which is awesome, because you can literally just sit in one room and fast forward and back and rewind through the entire game and see what happens in that room, and so you can see everything from different perspectives. This is one of those, like, I I think they made it non-VR at a certain point. They released a non-VR patch, but
Yeah,
it's,
I think they did.
and I kind of hate that because like I don't see this being nearly as impactful on a flat screen. But it's an awesome experience. It's something that I'd never really seen before this.
So yeah, I'm really excited to go back and beat that. The other big one that we'll go ahead and talk about because everybody's asking in the chat is Trover Saves the Universe.
I've heard of that game.
Which, yes, it is made by Justin Roiland and Squanch Games. And, you know, when Accounting Plus came out, I am working on the review here, so there are some review spoilers, but don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
But essentially, when Accounting Plus came out, I was like, I love this. I love Justin Roiland's sense of humor and just how it's always like a dark comedy and it's always like this crazy offensive stuff that usually I would be offended, but for some reason, you know, he just does it so well. And there's so many movie references and all this. But I was like, but there's no gameplay to it. So then they made the Rick and Morty game, which I am a fan of the show. And, you know, I thought it was okay. I really didn't think it was that great. I liked the Rick and Morty references and everything, but it just wasn't grabbing me. And now finally, Justin Roiland has answered my prayers and made a game that is his humor, but also platformer, hack and slash, and it's got all the comedy with it. Now, what it manages to do, though, I'm so happy that they went through with it and did it. It's kind of like a jack of all trades, master of none. It has really good, solid platforming. It has really good, solid hack and slash mechanics. It has really great comedy, but none of which either truly like excel in their own. It's more about the combination of each one that I think really makes it awesome. And I think it's a big step in the right direction for Justin Roiland and Squanch Games. I know he's a big supporter of VR, and you know this game. I know it's non-VR as well, but playing it in VR was just a blast, man. And I was laughing. And you can play it through one way, and you can when you go back and play it again, you can you know, not only there's collectibles to get, but there's situations that they present to you that you can nod yes or no. And there's also like different characters you can interact with. You can either help them, do what they say, and you can on the second playthrough do the opposite of what you did last time, and it plays the story out a little bit different. So even though it's about 4 or 5 hours or so, you can get more playtime out of it. And basically, long story short, if you're a fan of that kind of comedy, then I think you're going to really, really like it.
Dave, you blasted through this game as well, right? Have you finished it?
I haven't finished it yet, but I'm loving it so far. And something about it just, you know, it tickles that 3D platforming itch that I think we all have since Astrobot. But the humor is as good or better than Accounting Plus, which I really enjoyed. But like you said, you know, there's actually some meat to it now. And as soon as I started seeing those green power babies, I was like compelled to find as many of them as I could. So I think a lot of people who are like collectathon fans, as far as platformers go, that's always fun. Some people get really into it, and it doesn't feel like shoehorned in. It feels like that's because they love classic platformers, and it's sort of like a nod to that. But I've been laughing my ass off too. I really enjoyed it from what I've played so far.
Nice. I've basically been watching you guys play.
Yeah.
I've had it installed for a while, but I've been busy with other stuff. I really can't wait to get around to it. I'm not a huge Justin Roiland fan, not a huge Rick and Morty fan. I appreciate what it is, but it's not really my speed, which is why AJ is on this review and not me. But from what I've seen, I've watched you guys do the live streams, and I'm kind of giggling and having fun, and I love just how interactive the conversations are in the game. Like they really respond to what you're doing, and that's kind of fascinating to me.
Yeah, that's a big part of, I think, why it is so funny, because like you don't expect a character to react to your gameplay the way that they do a lot of times. And like there's gags that even if you're not into Justin Roiland's humor, like that tutorial in the beginning where they're watching the soap opera, and it's like, you never turn your chair anymore. You never turn your chair moving the right analog stick. And that's why I'm leaving you. Yeah, it's in the trailer right here. And it's such a clever little inversion of the typical, you know, tutorial thing. There's all these little clever twists on stuff.
Right.
Where even if it's not him, you know, rambling improv stuff about shit and piss for 20 minutes, there's some real clever ideas in there too that I think will get a laugh out of people, even if they're not the biggest fan of Justin Roiland.
Yeah, it does have the most euphoric ending ever. And Cloak, what I meant is that, hold on, you can't do any spoilers, man. Come on. No, but like, there's different parts of the game. Like, let's say you're sent to go. I really don't want to spoil anything, man. But just trust me when I say that if you do something differently the second time, it's not gonna change the story as a whole. It changes the dialogue and the narrative that occurs. Dave, when he was watching me, he was like, oh, like I played, like something completely different happened when I was playing here. And I went through and I tested it and I played it twice through, and there is different stuff that occurs. And
are you talking about the time I killed all those pregnant ladies?
Yes. But that's one other thing that's really impressive about this game is like the way that stuff happens, like when you stack. I love those two guys on the wall. Those guys are my absolute favorite. And I sat there and I listened to like so many things. People go on and on and on. And some of it's funny. Most of it's funny. There are some characters that are intentionally annoying, and boy does it get annoying. But that's the intention for it, so I kind of let it go. But there's also some characters that really hit it on the head there. And like you'll be like stacking stuff for a puzzle, and they'll be like, oh, look at this guy. Oh, he thinks he's a hot shot now. He's able to stack stuff. Or there was a platforming part where I was jumping and I was platforming towards these enemies and I fell. And they were like, oh my God, he fell. Who falls? What a jackass and stuff like that. And I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. Like if I would have just run up and hit them, I would have never seen that. So there's so many little things like that where if you do it in a different order or different way, that it kind of, you notice these new things. And finally, probably one of my favorite parts about it is the puzzle games, or lack thereof, where they're like, oh my God, you got to do this puzzle in the beginning. And they're like, do this puzzle, and you're doing it and you're like, wait, this doesn't make any sense. And you're like, what the hell's going on? And then suddenly they're like, you know what, screw this, give me my sword. Like, and they just break the puzzle or break the wall through. And they're like, this isn't that kind of game. We're just going to go and get back to the platforming and the hack and slash and comedy. And I loved it for that.
Great dialogue in there too, where it's like, what the hell were the developers thinking with this fucking stupid puzzle? This is so goddamn stupid. Just break through the wall. Like that was the part I was going to talk about too, because that for me was the funniest moment I've run into so far, where you're trying that first puzzle, and he just says fuck it. But anyways, it looks like I have to go, guys, so I guess I won't have time to talk about what I've been playing this week.
Yeah, sorry Dave, but, I didn't realize how late it was getting, and I kind of
it's fine. Well, in a word, just quick summary, there was other stuff I would talk about, but I've been playing custom Beat Saber songs on my Oculus Quest, which is really easy to do, but also a shitload of Trover and some other stuff. But got to bounce. So thanks for having me on as always. I will see rest of you Game Cats later, and have a good rest of the show.
Absolutely, man.
Thank you, Dave.
All right, listen, while we've got this trailer up and running here, I got to take a quick look over. I just want to make sure that.
What's up, Golden Cheetah? Paul, I did kill the bathtub guy.
It looks like JD is willing to join us.
Oh my God!
So, because he's at work, so let me see if I can get JD into.
I would love to have JD. I think there was something else I played while you're doing that. I checked out I checked out Jupiter and Mars, the update. Got my Jupiter and Mars shirt on.
Nice.
And they did improve the graphics a little bit, and pretty happy about that. What's up, Danish?
Where did you get a Jupiter and Mars shirt?
I got it from, honestly, like that's why the cool thing about Twitter is, you follow a bunch of random PSVR stuff on Twitter, and I found it that way. It was made, I don't remember who made it, but the Jupiter and Mars guys were tweeting about it, and I was like, you know what? Like, I really like that shirt, so I'm going to get it. And there's not a lot of PSVR shirts that are available, so I really regret not getting the Moss one. I still want to see if they have that that one with Quill on it still. But I got everything else from Moss, so it's all good. But yeah, so the graphical update, it looks much better. I actually was really tempted. I didn't have enough time, but I really wanted to go back and explore some more, and go check it out. I know it's not going to solve the mini map issue or some of the slow paced issue, but visually it does look better as a whole. Some of the coral reef and stuff still is kind of but it looks better overall, and I do very much appreciate the guys over there at Tigertron for making that update happen.
Excellent. Sorry, I'm kind of so JG just sent me a message saying that he's booting up now, so we should be able to rope him in just a second. I'm struggling with Discord just a little bit here, so give me a second.
No worries, take your time. I'll go ahead and so I was hanging out with my friend Lynn the other day, and she had this. She's Chinese. She came from this country from China, and she's really cool, really smart, and she had this fruit with her. And I was like, okay, what the heck is that? It looks awesome. And I was like, I need to try this thing, whatever it is. And she told me that it's called a dragon fruit. And I was like, of course, it's called a dragon fruit. But it's been my newest addiction lately. I get teased a lot because I don't like watermelon. And people give me shit all the time because I don't like watermelon. But I found my new best friend in dragon fruit. So thank you, Lynn, if you're watching. I really appreciate you recommending this awesome fruit. And I let's see, once we get a visual back, I actually have a show and tell, so you can see what it looks like.
Yeah, you might be SOL on visuals for a minute here. Oh, I took it back. We're back.
Okay, sweet. So anyone that doesn't know, this is a dragon fruit. You can find it at any Sprouts or wherever, farmer's market, Asian grocery store, and go check it out. It's really good. Good stuff. It's good for you too. Good if you're pregnant too. If you're a pregnant woman, eat these. They're good for you.
Your children will be brilliant.
Yes.
I will say I've always worked at kind of like hoity-toity restaurants. It's like ones that probably are a little too upscale for my tastes, but hopefully JD fits right into this little box that I've created for him. And so yeah, dragon fruit always seems to be like the garnish or like some like kind of like ridiculous element in like these American comfort foods kind of dishes that we're serving. So I've been around dragon fruit for a long time, but I don't know if I've ever seen one.
It's
whole.
Pretty, man. It's a beautiful.
I just see them chopped up and prepared.
Yeah.
Can you eat it raw?
Yeah. You eat it raw. You just cut it in half and you eat it with a spoon. It doesn't taste like much. It's kind of like I said. I don't like watermelon, which I get a lot of flack for.
Wait. Why do you get flack for not liking watermelon? Watermelon's the most boring fruit ever.
I don't know, man.
It doesn't have a lot of flavor.
Yeah. Well, this doesn't have a lot of flavor either. So it's not going to do much, but it basically tastes mostly like water with a little bit of sweetness. To add friends to DM.
Maybe he's got a personal setting on where it's like he's got some privacy thing on.
JD.
Because he's not showing up at all on the list. Ho! I see a car.
I gotcha. Yeah, I mean that's the sign of the JD. Right. Now he's just got to hit his mic and his video. Oh, I hear him.
Oh, I gotta fix the titles. God damn it, you guys! Everyone keeps showing up in the wrong place.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
Yeah, wait. I'm sorry, guys. You might have to re-invite me because my mic is on the wrist. I have to switch it over.
Are you in VR right now?
I'm sorry, unless you just want me to put the helmet. I don't think that'd be a good idea.
I mean, I don't.
I think it'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me at
all. You have to leave the call, JD.
All right, I'll leave the call. Bye.
All right, let me send him another one.
He better show up in the middle because I'm sick of moving these names around.
Add friends.
All right, this is really fun to watch. Brody says, JD, quit fucking around. We're waiting. Yeah, no, you're not waiting for me. I apparently I have, again, for some reason I have zero control over anything that happens around here. No control. People are like, oh, Bryan runs without parole. No, without parole runs Bryan. I don't really know how that is.
All right. Let's see. I just sent him a link on there.
There, is it working now?
Oh, there he
I
is.
can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
I
Except
can hear you.
you got quite an echo going on.
Are you sharing your video?
No.
Share your video. Oh, you're just gonna be audio?
No. Oh, I am sharing my video. What happened?
You're
Oh, man,
you're a
I'm
very
sorry, I'm
pretty
trying to-
circle.
Turn on the pro.
If your Discord didn't update today and you might have to reboot to get it to work. We had to do it before the show. It's why we were a couple minutes late. So if you want to reboot and come back, I've got one more story that I can tell.
Okay. Well, let me just read.
I'm running out though, so this is the last chance I have.
What do you got? What's going on?
A story.
What kind of story is this?
So
Is this video game related?
Oh no.
Oh, of course. Why would we do that?
I will say Team Grounding has said that Space Channel 5 is coming out in 2019. That was something we missed. There's a dude named Subtenko Games who's making a Blood and Truth game in Dreams. It's like a Blood and Truth tribute.
Did anyone tell him that we already have a Blood and Truth game? I understand making PT, like a full PT game. Oh, hey!
Hello.
Oh, there he is.
Hello.
Wait, that's what JD looks like? Hold on a second.
Hello.
Nice.
What's up, JD?
Beautiful.
Turn this up. Come on.
I'll save the story for the end of the for the outro.
Oh, I mean, I'm anxiously anticipating. I can't
Yes.
wait to hear how this goes.
It's one to look forward to.
Nice.
JD Meows, how are you, sir? It is good to see you, my man.
I'm great. Sorry, I was busy cutting some dragon fruit.
What's up? JD, let's get right into it, man. We've been dicking around for the last 5 minutes. Let's talk more about games. What have you been playing?
Honestly, I've been playing a lot of Dark Eclipse, and Gran Turismo Sport is always.
Wait, hold on. Tell us about Dark Eclipse real quick, because I think that's
a
pretty cool game.
Maybe a couple days ago, I just started going through my library, and I realized I haven't played Dark Eclipse in a while, and so just logged on and realized that they're going to shut down the some DLC or microtransactions soon. So
Aren't they shutting down the server completely?
I'm sorry?
Aren't they shutting down the server completely?
I think just the DLC is all they've announced.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
God,
they're not
too.
shutting it down. They're just shutting down the ability to purchase.
Wow. Okay.
But you won't be able to get any of that stuff unless you grind out the game. So it could be a pretty big grind. So I just purchased some things, and it's a really fun game. Even the AI is very challenging. So I've been playing a lot of that.
Was the first. Oh, good.
I just want to. I don't think everyone's familiar with Dark Eclipse. Do you want to kind of fill us in on what kind of game it is?
I think it's more of like a.
It's a MOBA.
It's a MOBA pretty much in VR. So it's just it's just like a platform. You're just it's sort of like a virtual board, and it's literally like you got the two hands controlling controlling the players. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, you have two. It's a real time strategy kind of MOBA deal. It's got these really cool characters that are designed, and you have leaders, and you have towers that you have to defend, and then towers that you have to go attack. And basically, it's kind of like anybody that likes Starcraft, Command and Conquer should take a look at this one. It's also visually, it's pretty good looking. So, like I was saying earlier, if you're going to do a tabletop game, you got to make it at least look good. This one does a really great job of being like visually pleasing as well as being fun. And it's got a cool system where you have each character you pick has like special attacks and stuff like that. And yeah, it's good. It's free. It's a free game, so everybody should go check it out at some point. Use the moves. I really liked it.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really fun with the moves.
It's worth checking out.
I think it started out with one move in the beginning, but we were talking. I remember we were talking with the devs and trying to get feedback and get the two move controllers. That's pretty cool. Having the two move controllers is really awesome with it.
Nice. Actually, one I've always been meaning to check out, and but because it was free, it was like there's no need to like really review it. It's like, yeah, just go play it. I don't need to tell you if it's good or bad. You can just play it for free, and you can tell me.
It's not as good as Table of Tales, but it is really. It's probably my second favorite next to it. Like I would say
Of that style.
Yeah, of that kind of style.
So you're telling me Megalith isn't like your number one fucking MOBA on PSVR?
No, first of all, Megalith was I think the first MOBA that I ever played.
Huh.
So that's not really a genre, unless you count StarCraft and Command and Conquer, which I was a big fan of those back in the day.
Command and Conquer. Awesome.
Command and Conquer, I played so many of those. Played StarCraft. I never played 2. I wanted to though, but you must construct additional pylons.
Harvest Treaty, gentlemen.
But I also played some Warcraft 2, Warcraft 2 and 3, I think. Besides World, but what you got? So JD, you said you've been back on. I know you've been playing some Gran Turismo and some Everybody's Golf, man. Tell us about some of those.
Everybody's Golf is pretty much, in my opinion, if you want to experience what it feels like, the feeling, the emotions of playing golf on top of just playing a golf game, this is the game to get. It's really awesome. I mean, never mind the cringy, caddies, but whatever. The game, the physics.
You don't like chocolate?
Literally,
you don't like chocolate, JD?
Yeah. The one where you're like, no, I'm not gonna spoil it. Never mind.
Okay.
Some of the stories, that you go through, they're pretty interesting. It's something I was like taken back by, but it's awesome.
So real quick, I want to congratulate Bryan for his tweet that he got straight from the man himself, Mr. Shuhei Yoshida. We are not worthy, sir. We are not worthy. Who tweeted out and quoted him from his review and tweeted that out and posted it. Congrats, Bryan. Great job, man.
Congratulations.
To get some recognition from the guy upstairs, even though it had some criticism in it.
It was weird. Yeah, he basically linked to our review and said and quoted the entire quote. It was like like a amazing, perfect tracking, this and that, blah blah blah. Despite some major faults, he totally could have left the despite some major faults part out. But I think that just kind of like shows like his integrity as a person, being like he doesn't want to misquote anybody. Very transparent.
Well, absolutely.
But and like for me, I mean, I've been running this channel for like 5 years now, and obviously PlayStation VR has only been around for 2.5. But like any acknowledgement from Sony that we even exist is few and far between. So seeing something from Shuhei Yoshida himself is like, that was like that warmed my heart up that night. I was like, oh, we're doing something good here.
Yeah, Joel, right on it.
Really good stuff.
But yeah, Everybody's Golf is so good.
It's amazing.
Your review, to be fair, your review was like really positive about it, but it mentioned that some AI, some tournament mode, and some multiplayer is the only thing it's really missing as like a launch game. But I think it's got a bright future ahead of it, though, for sure.
JD, you're a real golfer, right?
Yes. Well, I mean, by hobby, not like hardcore. I mean, I used to get hardcore into it, but not anymore. It's just been busy, but yeah.
Okay, so to clarify, JD's not a professional golfer.
Sorry. Yeah, I'll put it out there.
So in this to you feels accurate.
Yeah, the physics are spot on. Like the first thing I thought of when playing the game was if you're gonna do the because you could do like the beginners clubs and the stuff that have the assists or whatever later on in the game. But if you want to stay with the actual standard, you really got to know how to swing a golf club. And if you don't, you're gonna, if you really try and simulate it, you can really pull those muscles. So if you don't really get that swing down, you can really hurt yourself, even in VR. Sort of like in the Matrix, like what happens in the Matrix, happens in real life type thing almost. You just so I could feel it. So yeah, definitely, it's the real thing. It's pretty awesome. The only thing I wish is like the one thing we're missing in VR is not using the cleats, because in golf you use cleats and to keep your feet planted down. So in VR you're in socks, you're just like, oh God, no Lord, swinging all over the place. And my wife, I don't think she'd appreciate bringing in the cleats. So I just have to simulate that somehow, trying to figure out how to keep the feet still.
That's a game.
It's the real thing. It's fun. It is fun when it comes to the physics. It's spot on.
That's one I need to get back into as well. I owe some people some more time with that.
Yeah, a lot of people said, like that they cheat their way through the game and like just give like the move controller a little one-handed, swing, nice and easy. And
Yeah, you could do that. You can. You could do that.
It just seems so boring. Like I don't understand why do you even want to do that? Like I'm not a professional golfer. I'm not even in my spare time I go out and hit the ball around. I've gone out golfing one time in my life and I was 12. So I don't know how to swing a golf club. But I'll tell you, man, that like after the game makes you perfect your swing. You're like, oh, you're holding it not quite right. Oh, you're slicing, you're hooking, you're whatever. And like I feel like I've now got a golf swing down. I don't know if it would work in real life, but it definitely works in the game.
It would. It really would. You'd be surprised.
Nice.
No joke.
That it does. It's good to hear because like it just feels right. It feels like I'm like again. I don't know if this is how it would feel in real life, but as far as I'm concerned, it does a perfect job simulating it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Nice. So JD, one of the things that we were supposed to talk with Dave about.
All right.
Like it's actually the title of this video. I don't know if you want to check that and come back to us. This is supposed to be our E3 prediction episode for PSVR.
Okay.
And so we were supposed to be prepared. I know we weren't because we're never prepared for the show. But we were supposed to be prepared with some realistic predictions and some unrealistic predictions as far as PSVR is concerned. And we know full well, of course, that Sony doesn't have a press conference this year. There's no booth on the E3 floor. But that doesn't mean that there's not going to be PlayStation VR announcements, right? Because Upload VR is going to have like this whole VR reveal with some kind of funny guests. So that's going to be a big deal. Plus, there's going to be all these third-party developers on the floor at E3. Showing off their PlayStation VR games. So I don't want to like put you on the spot because we didn't prep you for this. But do you have any like hopes or dreams for this year's E3 as far as PlayStation VR is concerned?
Honestly, I'd like to see more of just No Man's Sky. I really would like to dive more into that. I'm not too sure when it's going to be out. I mean, I thought for some reason it was going to be this year, but I don't think so.
They're saying summer.
In the summer?
So they're saying summer 2019, No Man's Sky VR.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I'll forget that then. Let's see. I don't really have. Man, that is on the spot. Oof. Boy.
Well,
I don't have like games per se, tech wise, but E3, you see a lot more interesting things being unveiled just in VR in general.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to see some definite advancers just in VR in general, so that will be interesting to see. As for gaming, I'm more interested in just to see what this year or just in the next few months is gonna happen. So I don't know about you guys. What do you guys think?
So real quick, Bryan, I'm gonna let you go first, and then we should trade. We should go you the me, then you the me. Real quick, I do want to say Sniper Elite VR is already confirmed, so they're going to be showing some of that. Also, what is it? Vertigo Games, the ones behind Arizona Sunshine and whatchamacallit, and Stormland? Skyworld?
Yeah.
I always say that. They are going to be there as well with a new game announcement. So,
I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
I feel like Servios has basically said, "Hey, stay tuned. We'll let you know more about that Walking Dead game."
Oh man!
So like, I think if they don't reveal what platforms that's coming out for, then I'm gonna walk over to Servios and smack somebody, because like, don't get me excited for a game if it's not coming to my fucking platform, right?
So what's your first realistic prediction?
Well, I say a lot of things on this channel. And I feel like I live in my own like little bubble. I feel like I live in a without parole bubble where everything is PlayStation VR and it's all happy all the time. And it's like if something sounds good, then it probably is going to be good and it's probably going to be real eventually. That being said, I've been asking for one thing over and over and over again for quite a while, and that one thing has been by a specific developer about a very specific thing. And that specific thing has been jetpacks in Farpoint.
Oh man!
Now I don't think that Impulse Gear is like, hey Bryan, we're creating more DLC for Farpoint 1, But what I do think is that it's time. It's time for them to say, hey, maybe not a full reveal, maybe not like a full trailer, maybe not like gameplay or anything like that, but maybe a teaser for Farpoint 2 with jetpacks. And on top of that, bigger and better, they learned so much with that multiplayer, with the multiplayer DLC missions that they did, that the entire campaign is going to be playable 2-player multiplayer. And even better, I would love it if it was like a 4-player multiplayer thing. But my prediction is going to be jetpacks, Farpoint 2, 2-player full co-op campaign. That is my first prediction.
I like it.
Everybody
write that down.
How likely do you think that is?
That sounds delicious.
I think it's very unlikely.
What?
I think PS5 is on the horizon, and I think Farpoint 2 or Impulse Gear's next game is going to be a launch title for the PS5.
Wow, really?
It could be a long way away, man.
I mean, it's just speculation. I could be wrong. I hope you're right.
You're right.
See, in my personal opinion, the thing is that I think they really need to focus on the current PSVR player base. Like they need to say, hey guys, don't worry, we still have plenty of games coming. Don't worry about that PlayStation 5 thing, and plus when it comes out, it'll be backward compatible. So like all these games are just going to look better anyway. So I feel like they don't want to alienate anybody by putting a game specifically on PS5 for PlayStation VR. Like I think they want to like keep pumping out the games for PS4 so that when you make that transition to PlayStation 5, these games are still there for you. They're just going to look even better.
That's a very good point.
That's my guess. I'm always wrong. Like, despite my without parole bubble that I live in, I'm always wrong. And but I hope in this case that I'm right, because fucking jetpacks, man. I've been asking them for jetpacks. Every time I see an Impulse Gear tweet, I'm like, jetpacks?
That is true. That is true. Jetpack meme.
So my first realistic prediction is actually what you mentioned before. That's why I was like, okay, start your predictions, because I think they're going to reveal more about the Walking Dead game, Servios's, and I think they're going to do it on the Upload VR conference with the 30 games. I think they're going to tell us the basics, the platform it's going to be on, and everything. So pretty safe bet. I think it's, I don't know. What do you think? Pretty likely?
I just forgot that I can't show that trailer.
Oh, yeah.
I started it. It said the AMC logo, and I was like, oh, wait, no, AMC shut down the last GamesCast Live that we tried to show that trailer on. It blocked it in 272 countries. I was like, what? You can't do that to me, man. Come on, we're trying to promote your game. Don't stop blocking us in 272 countries. What kind of game do you think? So first of all, I totally agree with you. I think that like the Upload VR stream is going to be the absolute best place for this. And if anybody doesn't know what the Upload VR thing is happening here, there's going to be an Upload VR, basically Nintendo Direct style conference, whatever you want to call it, where they just have like a pre-recorded thing where they air it live, and it's going to be like guests like from Kind of Funny, and they're just going to show like lots of VR games, lots of VR announcements. This is something that, like, since there's no other thing happening like that's VR centric at E3 proper, I'm thinking that like if we can get away with it, I don't know if Upload VR would have an issue with this. We should be streaming this as well. We should be streaming their direct and talking over it and having and having a pre-show and post-show for their thing. But I might need to contact them and see if like that's legit or not. But what kind of game do you think The Walking Dead? Is it Onslaught? What kind of game do you think that is?
Well, it's Servio, so it's hard for me to say that
it's a racing game.
It's
a boxing game.
A boxing while you're racing game.
Zombie
boxing game. This is I suddenly want this more than anything else.
I think the only thing I can say that's set in stone is it's going to be a survival game, like some kind of survival game, whether it be story-driven, wave shooter. I just don't see Servios making a wave shooter, though. I'm hoping, if I had to hope for something, I would hope for a 4-player Left 4 Dead kind of deal, except it's set in the Walking Dead universe. And that is my hope. But it's Servios, so usually what they make, I'm pretty happy with anyways.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely like, as far as VR developers go, like they are synonymous with quality at this point. They are AAA VR developers. Even though their games are like $30-$40 each. That's pretty much where they're at. I don't know. I don't know what I want from this thing. Multiplayer would be great. We definitely need like a Left 4 Dead style game in VR. But I have no idea like what they're planning for this. And since their track record is all over the place, they've done boxing, they've done racing, they've done like kind of wave shooter, tower defense stuff with raw data. Even Electronauts is like, what the fuck was that? Like they just do stuff, and whatever they do, they're like, oh, we just wanted to make a music game, and it was awesome.
A pirate game coming out,
dude. Battle Wake, it looks so good.
Yeah, it looks really polished.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah, so I don't know. So your prediction is that we what? We get a platform, we get a release date, we get a what? We find out what kind of game it is?
We get at least a release window, and we find out more information on it. What kind of game it is? We find out basically that I'm gonna guess. I'll make it a little bold, take a little risk, and say it's a 4-player co-op game.
Nice.
And I'll take a risk and say it's going to be a 4-player co-op game. It's going to be on pretty much every VR platform that it can be, and we're going to get a release window, I'll say.
Yeah, he is right about that too.
Nice. I guess.
Well, since you guys were talking like that, I do have a prediction that I would like to throw out. Please. I want to see more about Blades, because they were saying they were bringing it to almost every. They didn't specify anything. They said every VR headset. So I want to see more about Blades.
Blades and Sorcery, right?
No, Elder Scrolls Blades.
Bring it out a little more, kind of, see where that's going to go, because that had me kind of like, wow, I would love to see that. So, because I love Skyrim.
Have you played it on like any mobile platform?
Yeah, I have, and it's actually it's going to end up being like a freemium with like microtransaction type stuff going on, but it's pretty polished. It's pretty nice. The control style for a mobile platform is pretty intuitive for it, and it's awesome on the mobile. But I know it'd be even better in VR. I mean, seeing all that in VR would be awesome.
Here, I'm bringing up a trailer right now because I don't think I've actually looked at this thing since E3 2018.
Yeah.
So let me bring that up and add it to the video here.
Yeah, terrible. It is loot box hell. You're right.
Is it?
Loot box hell.
Polish VR. Polish Paul just posted that.
I don't know who that is. I don't know who this
Polish
Paul is.
It's going to end up being a microtransaction type game, but I mean, it's Skyrim type stuff in VR. I would love to see any more of that on the PSVR.
So what's it like on mobile? Is it teleportation based? Is it full locomotion? Like what's going on?
Full locomotion, using your fingers. Just you can do your gyroscope or joysticks. I prefer the touch method. It's pretty quick. The combat style is, it's just like a normal mobile type platform. Just take turns and stuff. But the it's pretty smooth. It's a little quest based. It's more quest based. No like actual story. Not as enriched as Skyrim is that I've seen so far. But it's still in like beta. So I know they opened it up to everyone.
Is it open world or is it like literally quest based, like you said?
It could. I think it's more quest based at the moment that I'm seeing.
And is it? Have they brought this to any VR platform yet, or is it just the mobile like 2D stuff?
No, they said they're going to start. If I remember correctly, they were going to focus everything towards mobile right now. But they said eventually we're going to have it on every VR platform because it's going to be cross-platform. So that's what they were saying at the time, and that I was just like, yes, this is amazing. This is everything I want to hear, And so, but it just went silent, and then just, eventually the beta came out, and here we are.
We are. Right on. Yeah. I think that's a great prediction. I sort of forgotten about this entirely. And again, something I would, just like Skyrim itself, like, and I hate saying that publicly, because it makes me sound like, not a real gamer. But man, like, yeah, I skipped Skyrim initially. I played like an hour of it. I killed a dragon. I was like, all right, I've done everything I want to do. Thank you, Hugh Guyver, for the donation, man. We appreciate you. He says, has Immortal Legacy movement patch dropped yet? No,
it's going to be very soon though.
It'll be soon.
Very soon.
It'll be soon, and it sounds like it should definitely rectify some things for some people. And I think that's supposed to be the patch with the 3D rudder support as well.
Three new control schemes, two new button mappings on the moves, and then the rudder support. So if you guys aren't happy yet, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, right. There's no other game has made 3 total button combinations and added the rudder as well, except for maybe the scraper we talked about earlier. But guys, go play Immortal Legacy when that happens. For the love of God.
Yeah, for whatever reason, AJ and I were talking earlier. We're saying that it's absolutely ridiculous that we didn't fight harder for Immortal Legacy to be in the top 20 list, because it is. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's one of my top 10 favorite PSVR games. Man, like, I don't know, like if I had 3 hours to kill right now, and I just was like, oh, I don't have to worry about any other VR games, I would just go play that whole game from start to finish again, because it's that much fun. I would just like to do that like once a month or so. And again, I like AJ mentioned, we always want to give games a chance to breathe, and say, okay, we might have been really pumped for it at launch, we might have been really excited for it when it first came out, but we want to make sure that like that excitement doesn't like influence us when we're trying to come up with a best of all time top 20 list.
Because usually the last game I play, if I like it, it's usually like my favorite.
Right.
So,
I was just playing Table of Tales.
Right.
Table of Tales, like, this needs to be on the top 20 list. Come on.
I mean, Blood and Truth. I'm like, where does that go?
It's quickly fading from memory. No. Blood and Truth is amazing. If you guys haven't played Blood and Truth, you're out of your minds.
All the games, all the big hitters from the last couple weeks, man, have been really good. Everybody's Golf, Blood and Truth, Trover Saves the Universe, and of course, Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, man, I could. Five Nights at Freddy's, like, just thinking about it scares the crap out of me. There's something about sitting in that office with like 2 open doors that you're like, you just feel so exposed all the time.
Do it, Bryan. Do it.
What am I doing?
Where's the bunny?
Oh. This is the bunny.
That's basically how the game works.
This is the bunny. This is the bunny I strapped my Move controller to for Conrad the kitten when I did the plushie mode, and I was like, I told AJ every 12 minutes during this live stream I was just gonna do a jump scare. Like that's Bonnie for you.
Oh man, so good. Love that game. But totally off track. Is it my turn to do a prediction? Is that who we're on?
I don't know. Oh no, I started it. We're going round robin. I'm next up.
Okay. So what's your next realistic prediction?
Well, so here's the problem. I don't make realistic predictions, I guess, because everything I want to happen is boring, or every realistic thing would be boring, and I just feel like it's like bound to happen. So like I feel like is shooting. Aiming for the fences, shooting for the fence. JD, you're a sports guy, right? What is it? Shooting for the fences, aiming for the fences.
Shooting.
It's not shooting. That sounds wrong. Where's Nick Mulo? He knows sports. I don't know. Anyway, prediction number 2. Capcom is very happy about the success of Resident Evil 2 remake. And to show how much to give back a little bit to the fans, they're creating a first person mode, and to give back even more, they're making it compatible with PlayStation VR.
Is Capcom even going to be there?
Who cares? This is all in my head.
They could just show up. They could just show up and go, "Hey, can we show up?"
Yeah. The downside is Capcom doesn't have their own show. And traditionally they show their games off on like either Sony's or Microsoft stage. And I don't remember where they did the last Devil May Cry. I feel like that might have been on Xbox's stage. I could be wrong. So like it's not. The problem is they don't have a good place to do this without Sony, because obviously they could be on the Xbox stage and go, oh, we've introduced a first-person mode into RE2 Remake.
Swinging for the fences. It's swinging.
Swinging for the fences. That's it.
Nick.
Was it Nick?
It's Nick. Thank you, Nick. He came through.
Oh, that's too funny.
Man, we really need to stop live streaming ever. Because all I'm doing is showing what a man I'm not.
I think that's a great prediction that I would absolutely hope to happen.
But it's unlikely, right?
It's unlikely. Hey, never say never. Everybody said it was unlikely this guy was going to get VR support. So I
said that. Like I'm the super hopeful, optimistic without parole guy. And I said good luck with No Man's Sky.
You think so? You should have led by Resident Evil 2 is not going to get VR support at this E3.
Yeah.
That's what you should have said.
That's what I should do. I like Decepticon saying RE8. That's all he wrote, 3 letters, RE8. I was like, you know what? I'll take that too. Like, I don't care what you're giving us. If as long as
how long is E3? I would take however long E3 is of just nothing but RE8. That's all I want. Just give it to me. Take it. I want to know all about it.
Yeah,
no problem.
In fact, I don't really need any other companies to show up. I don't need any other press conferences. Just RE8. They can just like one dude from Capcom could show up and just like with a piece of paper with the words RE8 written on it. And I'd be happy. I'd be like,
just walk away.
Best that's E3 ever.
Yep.
Yeah.
So for my second one, before I do my second one, I'll shout out to Guy's son Ezra and I think it was Nick Garcia, who said they believe that Moss Book 2 is going to be shown. Golem and Starchild are going to get a release date. I think that's a really great prediction, whether or not it happens.
Realistic predictions, yes.
Yeah. I think it's good.
They're bringing us back. They're bringing us back down.
But real quick, Diz, what's up, Diz? Haven't seen you in a minute, man. He says, love all the special guests and new format. Any word on Dirt 2 PSVR, JD?
That was going to be my next.
Okay, so we'll get to JD after me. We'll get to JD after me, and then you'll have to give us a little bit more details on why. My second prediction is that Undead Citadel is going to be shown. These are obviously these are my realistic expectations. I'm going to go crazy here in a minute. But for my 2, it's going to be that the Walking Dead game by Servios is going to be shown, and that Undead Citadel is going to get a release date, or it's going to be dropped, or something like that.
A release date. Ooh.
And I don't know. I gotta shoot for the fences a little.
Shoot for the fences.
That's what it is.
Swing for the fences. I'm so proud. I'm so proud I learned something today.
But yeah, so those are my 2 realistic expectations going into E3. Of course, I'm excited about the whole showcase, 30 VR games. And JD, yeah, man, what's your next one?
I'll that if out of some just spontaneous thing happen, Codemasters just shows up and go, hey, by the way, we're bringing Dirt 2.0 to PSVR, and they show footage, actual footage of someone just kind of like sitting there with the VR helmet, and the wheel, and there it is. Yeah, that's what I want. I want that more than anything. That would be awesome because we
are a big racing guy.
Racers to our platform. We need it, man. We're dying.
For those that don't know, JD is a religious VR racer and sim racer guy, and it's whether it's Dirt Rally, Gran Turismo, iRacing, this dude is all over it. By the way, he has a Twitch that you can check out, JD Max 1210. Go check him out on Twitch. He's the only reason I have a Twitch account, and it's awesome to have. And he does different PSVR stuff on there as well, like Everybody's Golf. So definitely go hang out with him in the Game Cat chat.
Yeah, he drives all those awesome cars that were designed by Trey Thacker with the with that logos splattered all over them. Yeah, good stuff.
So Bryan, now we get to the fun part. What is your absolutely absurd, unrealistic hope or prediction for E3?
Unrealistic prediction is I don't have one. I feel like I'm already unrealistic out. I don't want to fudge one and just come up with one on the spot here. I do want to stop for a second though. I feel like we after we said Dirt 2.0, we didn't really stop there for a second, because I'm not really familiar with the Dirt series outside of Dirt Rally, and obviously rally racing is much different than regular racing, right? So what kind of games, what kind of like racing does Dirt 2.0 have if it's not rally?
It is rally. They call it Dirt 2.0, but it's Dirt Rally 2.0.
It is, okay. That's what I was curious about, because man, I'll tell you that learning Dirt Rally 1.0 was fucking difficult, right? It's like, because I wasn't a rally racer fan. I was like didn't really understand like the the lingo and like having to learn all of that and try to. Eventually it's better than a map, having the person in the passenger seat do all the call outs. because you don't have to look away from the road. But man, that was a tough game to learn. And so I was curious to see what Dirt 2.0 was all about. And if it's more of that, then that's very cool. But I'm like less interested because I'm like, I don't need another rally racer, to be honest.
You're right. That could be it. Yeah, it's pretty much the same, but a few more modifications. So they introduced a new track degradation system, which really improved the difficulty level.
Nice.
So pretty much if there was 40 people racing in the game, and if you, based on your time, you would be placed. And so if you were like 15th, that meant 14 other racers already raced the track. And so you have to race the track not clean. It's like if 14 people were racing on it. So it becomes very difficult if you end up having the worst times. So it was that's more of the new features that are on the game.
That's cool. No, that sounds more exciting. I like the track degradation is not something I would ever think about, but yeah, in rally racing that makes perfect sense.
It's pretty cool.
So
I've got two ridiculous ones.
Oh yeah, give me ridiculous.
So the first one is that, and I've been seeing Miles Dyer go crazy in the chat. I'm like, I'm getting there, man. I'm getting there.
Yeah, I'm looking through all this.
But Bethesda's going to be there, as well as Ubisoft and Square Enix. And so I was going to say, for my unrealistic prediction, I would love to see Doom Eternal get VR support, get a VR mode, get VR anything. I know. Hopefully they show off some Cyberpilot as well, and get the release date on that, where you're controlling a big giant metal dog. But want to see Cyberpilot, but then want them to also stop and say, wait, but there's more, and that they're going to be giving Doom Eternal VR support in some way.
Now the hope for Doom Eternal is that they just take the game and throw in a VR mode, or are we thinking like Doom VFR mode?
I'm hoping maybe even a bite-sized Doom, like another Doom VFR, just an updated one, Doom VFR 2. Something.
Do you think there's any chance in hell that they are still interested in updating Doom VFR with some click turning?
I would love to see them do click turning, do rudder support, whatever they have to do to add to those move controllers, because they need some kind of turn button. They need to do that, and to some degree. And whoever's working on it, they can. Yeah, I don't know what happened, but I want to see some kind of support, because, like you, the moves are my favorite way to play that game.
Yeah.
But I want it to be better, because it deserves to be better.
Yeah, Des always says we're team options here, but it's so strange that the dual move controls force you to teleport, which is again, I think this is the way they designed the game. I think they designed the game with two move controllers and teleportation in mind, and that's the kind of strategic element they implemented. And at the last minute, everyone was like, I can't believe this game has teleportation only, and I can't believe it doesn't support DualShock 4 or aim. And they were just like, oh, you guys want that? I just shoved it the fuck in. And I was like, that's fine, but I feel like it just suddenly became sort of a generic first-person shooter when you use those control schemes. That being said, if I'm going to play a generic first-person shooter, then man, give me my fucking move controls and don't make me teleport, right? So now I want all options. If I'm going to use the move controllers in Doom VFR, then I also want to be able to use full locomotion if I want to. I also want or the teleportation mechanic and click turning, or regular turning, like smooth turning on top of it all. And I think Doom VFR is too big of a game for them to be like, okay, we put it out, it sold pretty well, we're done. They got to keep supporting that thing, and they got it because there are new people buying PlayStation VR every single day, and that's a game that people go, it's good, it's not great, it doesn't make anyone's top 10 list anymore, but it very well could if they just gave it a little bit more love.
Hobbit, I appreciate you, man. Says love true. GC's cheats for FNAF. Any more games he's doing it for thinking 18 floors. I will do whatever you want, man.
18
Name
floors.
A game. I will do whatever game you want. I always find that weak spot in the game, and I pry and oh god, Alien Isolation is not my PSVR wish. That game can stay far away from VR. I know I'm saying this kind of ironically because I want it to come, but I really don't want it to release at the same time, because that's the only flat screen game I ever couldn't make it through because it scared me too much.
Yeah, I beat
That's
that game,
not
but man,
easy to do.
I would play it again big time in VR. And obviously, it's in VR on PC, right? So like, and everyone says it's pretty epic. So
I agree, Chris. Doom Eternal or Doom non-VR is still great. I'm happy for them. I just probably won't get to play it, but I did play Doom 2016 when it first came out, and it was awesome.
yeah, that's pretty good.
So my other crazy prediction is, so Square Enix is going to be there. And as much as I'd love to say, like, you know, Deus Ex VR, something like experience, I'm going to have to go with my favorite game of all time and say that Final Fantasy VII is going to get a VR experience or VR mode or a VR fishing game.
Monster of the Deep Part 2, Final Fantasy VII?
Yep.
Oh, God.
I would absolutely die if they say Final Fantasy VII VR something.
Would all of my fishing rods have to be branded with like the Shinra Corp logo? Like,
I don't, whatever. No, they'd have materia in the. Okay. They'd have your fishing rods would have little slots, and then you put materia in them, and you would use that, like you would use I don't know, an ice materia against a firefish or something like that.
Is Final Fantasy VII remake coming to Xbox?
That's a good question.
I feel like it's not.
I don't think it is. I think it's coming to Switch. I think it's coming to Switch and
what? Man.
Yeah.
Hold on, I got to check this out.
No, man, Nintendo's been all about the fantasy lately, but those are my two crazy predictions. Doom Eternal getting VR support. We'll just say full VR support. And then Final Fantasy VII experience, fishing mode,
PS4 only.
Kart racer.
It's PS4 only, and because of that, I would say, you know what? I don't know if that crazy prediction is that crazy. I feel like if Square's back in bed with Sony, I feel like they could be like, hey, you know, you gave us that Tomb Raider experience, give us a Final Fantasy VII experience.
So I think it's a timed exclusive. I think it's coming out on. Oh, you know what? I don't know. They've been releasing Cloud into Super Smash Brothers. They released the original Final Fantasy VII port, the PC port, onto Switch. So it could be coming to Switch later on. I don't know though.
Okay.
Not good.
What's so what we're thinking the possibility of like Golem and Star Child release dates. This is a thing.
Right. That's the one. That's where I gave the shout out to Guy Sun and Nick Garcia for saying that, you know, Star Child, Golem, you know, all these games that should have come out a long time ago or whatever, you know, are going to get a release date or something. I really like some of these others that the Cats did. Ace Combat 7, Ace Combat
awesome.
7 getting you know, full campaign support, something like that.
That would
the
be
Forest
incredible.
VR, Forest VR seems interesting.
That too.
I know Billy Goat Catfish wants that Borderlands 2 DLC. I do too.
Did they announce they just said it's coming? They didn't say when?
They didn't say when, but they said all the DLC for Borderlands 2 is going to be free, and it's going to be in the summer.
Summer, okay. I mean, we're basically entering summer right now, so like the fact that like that the Borderlands DLC and No Man's Sky, like it's all coming all in the next 3 months.
This is the calm before the storm, man. Do not sleep on what's going on in PSVR land right now because it's about to get crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm gonna say one more thing here. I just got to bring up the trailer for it.
Cool.
Because I think it's something that like we should all be very, very excited for, but like putting it on the back burner is probably smart, just because like you don't want to like count your chickens before they hatch. But everything that we're hearing so far about this, I'm like slowing down my speech pattern so that I can get this up and running on time.
Blazing Peep says, "What about Robo Recall for PSVR? That seems like a really big game they're using to push the Rift and the Quest. So
it is an Oculus exclusive.
I think that's an exclusive over there. Which it does look kind of cool. Time Crisis, Carnival, House of the Dead. Yeah, I would love Time Crisis or House of the Dead. Well, Blood and Truth gave me my Time Crisis fix for a little bit. but not my House of the Dead fix, which I technically Rush of Blood did. Carnival, I don't think we want to see Carnival in VR. The game is so damn hard and unfair. But yeah, tons of rail shooters that need to be on VR. Wait, don't sleep on PSVR. You say tell that to.
So,
all right.
Ironman VR. My guess is that we're going to see a huge demonstration about this.
Nice.
This is obviously developed by Camouflage, people behind Republic, and I really think that we're going to see. They're going to finally reveal like more about how this game plays. They've showed some short gameplay sequences here. We've heard some reviews, not reviews, but like kind of lengthy previews about from people from people who've actually played it, and it sounds like there's a lot going on here. The developers are talking about how it's kind of a sandbox, which leads me to believe it's a little bit of an open world. And the whole thing, just I would like to see how missions play out. I would like to see how you go from one segment to another, and basically just how the flying is. And I really feel like this could be something that this is something that people are really excited for, and I think we just need to see a little bit more about how it plays, like moment to moment gameplay. I think that's going to be pretty epic. And I'm going to say that we see this is kind of a ridiculous thing, considering we don't even have a release date or a release window. They might have said 2019. I'm pretty sure. But I'm going to say we see like 10 minutes of gameplay. They're going to really show us that they're going to blow this game out of the water and show us how it works.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that one. That's going to be another blood and type AAA experience that everybody wants, and it should deliver. Especially knowing that it's going to have not just the shooting stuff, but like the open world sandbox kind of deal, the story, all that. I don't expect the story to be any good, but I expect the gameplay to be good and the experience to be good.
I don't expect the story to be any good. It could be.
Hope it's good. Yes.
Yeah. I hope it is.
Nice. All right, what do we got? Any final predictions here, JD? Anything else you want to add? Are you hoping for Gran Turismo Sport to be fully playable in PSVR?
That would be amazing.
Any type of multiplayer would be nice. Hey, why not? That would be awesome. Even 1v1 would be amazing.
Yeah, that was one of those weird, fascinating things where, like, even in the early PSVR Gran Turismo Sport trailers, they'd show somebody in VR racing against another person.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Castlevania is going to get its own full PlayStation exclusive VR game, and it's going to be amazing.
Oof.
And it's going to all be 8-bit.
And it's called
VR.
Bloodborne 2. Bloodborne 2 in VR.
Oh, I sure hope so.
I think I would venture to guess that with Derasine being kind of a test game for From Software, it's, as far as like testing out the VR market, and testing out like the VR tech and like what they can do in it. I would venture to say that if not this year, then next year we'll see them kind of dip a little bit deeper, right? Like to put their toes a little further into the water and deliver an action game in VR. And if it was Bloodborne 2, I'd fucking lose my shit, man, because Bloodborne 1 was amazing.
Any type of Souls, Bloodborne, that would be.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think that's it, though, man.
That's it. As we get so many games coming up, in the next couple of weeks. We actually don't know what's coming out next week. We got to wait till the PlayStation blog does their thing tomorrow, and then we'll know more about what's happening next week. But the following week is like insane. There's 4 games coming out the following week. There's there's a Vacation Simulator. There's Luna. There's Mars Alive,
Minimech,
and Minimech Mayhem. 4 games coming out all on the 18th. So I almost hope nothing comes out next week, just so we can kind of like prepare for that.
Is the sale next week? The Days of Play sale?
I think it starts tomorrow, doesn't it?
Oh shoot!
Is the 7th to the 17th, something like that?
Oh man! So if that happens, be on the lookout then, because there's going to be insane sales for PlayStation VR games, most likely. But yeah, looking forward to all those. JD, real quick, thank you so much, man, for jumping in here last second. It's
no problem. I saw on there and I was like, oh, I might as well.
You are the man for real, and I always enjoy talking to you, and just really appreciate not only coming on here, but also all the modding stuff you do for our community, man. Really appreciate you.
Guys. Anything I can do for the cats.
All the work you do. That's a real game cat right there, guys. Take a good look.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us, watching PSVR Gamescast Live for June 6, 2019. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you subscribe to PSVR Underground. Make sure you head on over to Twitch and watch JD Max 1210. And of course, you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit us up on Patreon for patreon.com/withoutprogames for $1 or more every single month. I will get that Litter Box episode up tonight at some point. I promise. As always, we love you all. I always forget to get ready to end the video. I'm talking. I don't have the end ready.
Is the cat going?
On your mark, get set, cat.
All right. So,
here's your story.
my roommates moved out recently, and I used to have 2 roommates that were helping me pay for my house, and so now money got a little bit tight. But people always say this thing about, oh well, when you live alone, you could just walk around naked all the time, and I was like, no, I was like, well, I've never really tried it because I've always had people to help me pay for my house. So, but yeah, it's absolutely true. You can walk around everywhere completely naked without a care in the world, and it's amazing. But unfortunately, I forgot one thing, which was
the pizza guy.
When you go check the mailbox, you got to have clothes on.
This is true.
So unfortunately, I got a call, and they took me in. I had to stay the night in Rice Street. And then when I was in Rice Street, the guy, none other than the guy from the gas station was there. And he was like, hey, you want to get out of here? I've got my Swiss Army knife.
Your stories always start off so fascinating, and then they quickly devolve into just miserable
chaos.
Plethora of words. Guys, thank you so much.
True story.
I can't wait to do this again next week when we're drowning in video games to play. See you later, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Love you
Later,
all.
man.